Welcome to Inspired Body by Bell. I'm your host, Joyce Bell, LPN. We are excited. This is our first broadcast on health, wellness, and fitness, and we want to help anyone who wants to become healthier because I believe everybody deserves to have the body and life they love. Now, if you haven't done so already, download the app and tune in on Saturdays from 4 to 5 p.m. on Beat Break 87 FM. Make sure you go to www.inspiredbodybybell.com to check out the blogs. I've got some valuable tips, and you can follow my lifetime journey on Instagram at Inspired Body by Bell. Don't forget to check out my YouTube channel for the recorded podcast. Before we begin today's topic, let me share a little bit about myself. I'm a 48-year-old grandma who happens to be a nurse of 18 years with a specialty in cardiology. I had a life-changing experience involving my heart, and I had to make some immense changes to my eating habits, to my physical activity, and anything that was preventing me from having one of my heart valves replaced. Now, I'm not here to judge or criticize anyone's beliefs or behaviors regarding healthy lifestyle living, dieting, or whatever it is that they think is necessary. I just want to share with you how I changed my health outlook, what I did, the challenges I went through, what I learned, and then help you achieve massive, massive success. We have 5 ways to show your heart love. The first one is to always know your numbers. Why should you know your numbers, what numbers you should know, and how you can keep those numbers under control? Why you should know your number is because if you know your numbers, it can help you prevent major risk factors for heart disease. If you know your number, you are able to be informed and you can assist in your care with regard to providing history to the doctor, maybe with regard to keeping a log of the results or the numbers that you have. Another reason for knowing your numbers is because this helps you to determine what medication plan and what prescription plan you'll use. So those are the reasons why you should know your number. Number 2, what numbers should you know? What numbers are important to help you prevent major risk factors for your heart? The numbers would be your blood pressure numbers, your blood sugar numbers, and your cholesterol numbers, amongst others. But these are the primary numbers that we want to pay attention to. So blood pressure, also known as high blood pressure or hypertension, is one of the first ones that we're going to pay attention to. The systolic, systolic, is the number that is on top. And that number simply measures the pressure in the artery when the heart is beating. The number on the bottom is the diastolic. We spell it diastolic, and that measures the pressure in the artery when the heart is at rest. The numbers that we feel comfortable with for the systolic, which is the number on top, should be no less than 120. The number on the bottom, which is the diastolic, should be no greater than 80. The next number that we're going to pay attention to is going to be the blood sugar, which is also known as high blood sugar or diabetes. And this happens when the body is not able to break the food down and it's not able to process the extra sugar. When this happens, the body, we tend to say that you're holding too much sugar, and so now you're just sweet. The sugars that we would like to see as far as a number, fasting before meals, should be between 70 and 100. And the numbers that we are comfortable with after a meal should be 140. Now, of course, these numbers are just standard numbers. It's going to be different in each individual, and so it's always going to be advised to talk with your primary care doctor or your physician and not to take anything that anyone is saying, including myself, at face value. The purpose for this is just to share information. You must consult with your physician. So we went over blood pressure, blood sugar. Now we are talking about cholesterol. We also call that hyperlipidemia or hypo, which would mean not enough. Cholesterol is a fatty substance in the body cells. Too much of this can cause it to harden, and then it will cause it to be a thick, sticky substance like plaque. And when this gets hard, it narrows in the arteries, which are in the lining of the heart, and it starts to prevent the blood from flowing through the arteries. When this happens, you not only not get enough blood, you don't get enough oxygen, and this can affect the brain. You can have a stroke, you can have a blood clot, anything can happen. This puts your body in a dangerous position. So cholesterol is a number that we want to pay attention to. Here is the breakdown for the cholesterol. The LDL, which is also known as the bad cholesterol, is a number that should be less than 100. Your HDL, which is your good cholesterol, should be greater than 40 or 50, and this is going to be respective to male or female. The triglycerides, which is another type of fat that's found in the body cells from food and in the blood, should be greater than 150. The triglycerides is something that you pick up in because of excessive alcohol, maybe cigarette smoking, obesity, or maybe decreased mobility in your body or increased amount of carb intake. These things can cause the triglyceride number to rise. And so with these numbers put together, we're coming up with a number that should be 200 or less. Anything higher than 200 causes us to start looking closely to determine whether the LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, the HDL, which is the good cholesterol, or the triglycerides are out of the normal range so we can begin working on it. Again, these numbers that I listed, which are the blood pressure, the blood sugar, cholesterol, they are all very important numbers that you should know. You should know these, especially if you are taking medication for blood pressure, blood sugar, or cholesterol. And any other medication for that matter, you should know the numbers. It's very sad if you're taking medication and you don't even know whether in fact this medication is helping you or not. Of course, now we always want to make sure we can understand how we can keep our numbers under control and keep it in an easy and simple manner. The last thing we want to do is make it confusing, is make it tiresome, or make it even just a burden. This is our bodies. We have to take our time with it. We must realize that we didn't get this way overnight, and it won't happen overnight. So, one, we will set a goal. And that goal can be something that you can set on your own, especially after you have become aware of your numbers, or you can set it with a nutritionist, or you can set it with a family member, or maybe your primary care doctor. Two, you want to exercise regularly. Exercise can be anything at any level. You can have an individual who is a paraplegic, a 2-year-old to an 82-year-old. It does not matter. You can have had a stroke. You can be in a wheelchair. You could be on crutches. There's every way that you can exercise. And if you are having challenges with stretching your brain to decide what kind of exercises, please make sure you reach out to me because I've got a few ready for you. 3 is going to be watching your carbs and your intake. Begin to pay attention to the things that you put in your body. Be mindful of what you eat. Drink a little bit more water. Juices, coffee, tea is never going to be a substitute for water in your body. Your body needs it. Your cells need it. Your skin needs it. Your hair, every part of your body needs water. There is no substitute for it. Please do your body, your cells a favor and drink a little bit more water. And number 5, this one is very simple. I don't think it should take too much, but in this 2019, it seems appropriate to say, be happy with your life. Be happy with the life that you have. Have a feeling and a sense of gratitude, and you will find that things may become simpler as you begin to look at it. Set a goal, exercise regularly, watch your carb intake, be mindful of what you're eating, drink more water, be happy with life, and be full of gratitude. To recap, for this show, we knew that it is important that we know our numbers, we know what the numbers are, and we learned how we can keep our numbers under control. And now is the time for the fun part. We've got our tip of the day, the meal of the day, exercise of the day, motivational quote, and we've got some inspired humor. The tip of the day is to look in the mirror. Stand in front of your mirror. Take a look at yourself for at least 60 seconds. Take up to 3 minutes if you have to. Really stare at what you see and take it all in. Now, don't censor your thoughts. Just let the assumptions, the thoughts, and emotions flow. Don't judge what you're thinking. Don't judge what you're feeling. Just look in the mirror. And that's the tip of the day. The meal of the day is, let's try a large salad with baby spinach. Let's do about 3 to 4 ounces of protein. We can be salmon or maybe some grilled chicken. Let's do some cucumbers, some zucchini, throw some peppers in there, all of them. Do about a half of an avocado and maybe a handful of butternut squash. Maybe you can throw about a third of a cup of quinoa in there and tell me how that tastes. That's the meal of the day. And the exercise of the day is one of my absolute favorites. It's a plank. 1 minute plank. 1 minute can be done 15 seconds at a time, 4 times. Or you can stretch out your whole minute. Or if you have to break it up in smaller segments at a time, there you go. That's the exercise of the day. Your motivational quote is, when you do something half-heartedly, you don't get much of a result. When you do it fully, you get a great result. And this is Frederick Lenz. Frederick Lenz, that's the motivational quote. Inspired humor is, what is a ghost's favorite lunch meat? I bet you'll never guess it. I know you can't. Okay, you give up? Bologna. I want to thank you guys for listening into Health and Wellness and Fitness with Inspired by Bell. I'm your host, Joyce Bell. If you missed this segment, please check out our YouTube channel on YouTube, of course, at Inspired Body by Bell, and look for the podcast that we post. Please remember, everybody deserves to have the body and life they love, and I will see you again next Saturday, 4 to 5 p.m.